None are more hopelessly enslaved than those who falsely believe they are free. This quote, written by Johann Wolfgang von Goethe almost 2 centuries ago, feels hauntingly relevant in our modern society. But as we think about it, a crucial question arises. Are we truly free? Or are we actually trapped in a sophisticated system designed to subjugate us through the allure of pleasure? Welcome to Leap of Faith. This is the space where we explore bold and transformative ideas that challenge how we see the world. Here, we dive into the connections between philosophy, psychology, and the dilemmas facing modern society. In today's video, we'll examine how the everyday pleasures we take for granted have been turned into powerful tools of control and domination. We'll draw on the insights of thinkers like Aldous Huxley, B.F. Skinner, and others, aiming to uncover the mechanisms that keep us captive and reflect on how we can reclaim our freedom. To understand how we got here, let's travel back to 1931, when Aldous Huxley published his iconic novel, Brave New World. In it, Huxley imagined a futuristic society where mass control wasn't achieved through brute force, but through something subtler, and in many ways, more effective: pleasure. In this dystopian world, drugs, endless entertainment, unrestrained sexuality, and a culture of instant gratification were used by a small ruling elite to keep the population subjugated, but in a way that felt completely voluntary. Fast forward a few decades to 1961, and Huxley issued a chilling warning. He pointed out that the dystopia he had envisioned in Brave New World was beginning to take shape in the Western world. In a now famous lecture, he said that society's elites had learned to dominate the masses not through force or repression, but by flooding them with pleasures. By keeping people constantly distracted with instant gratification, they realized they could weaken people's ability to question, resist, or even notice their lack of freedom. What Huxley foresaw in the 1960s is, alarmingly, what we're living through today. We're caught in an endless cycle of instant gratification. Whether it's through social media, excessive consumption, cutting-edge technology, or various addictions. Each of these provides immediate pleasure, but at the expense of our ability to think deeply, question our circumstances, or break free from this system of control. To understand how pleasure is weaponized as a tool of control, we can turn to the concept of operant conditioning, developed by psychologist B.F. Skinner. Skinner's experiments demonstrated how human behavior could be shaped through positive reinforcement, essentially rewards that encourage repetition of certain actions. In Brave New World, this idea comes to life through the drug soma, which offers a false sense of happiness and a kind of vacation from reality. Huxley also describes a society where unrestrained sexuality serves as both an emotional escape and a means of social control. But Huxley's ideas aren't confined to fiction. They have clear parallels in our reality. Today we see disturbing examples of these mechanisms of control all around us. Take the opioid epidemic, which has devastated communities, hooking people on fleeting pleasure while stripping them of their freedom and their lives. Pornography, too, has disconnected people from authentic emotional relationships, dehumanizing intimacy. And then there's the omnipresent smartphone, a device designed to monopolize our attention and keep us tethered to a constant stream of entertainment and notifications. All this while we cling to the illusion of choice and freedom. Huxley warned us that relentless distractions aren't just a form of entertainment. They're a powerful weapon against deep thinking and critical reflection. When we're bombarded by superficial stimuli and momentary pleasures, we lose the ability to question the world around us. In this state, people become far more susceptible to propaganda, conformity, and the status quo, rarely pausing to ask whether the structures governing their lives are just or even necessary. Another crucial theme Huxley explores is the role of consumerism in shaping our perception of happiness. In a consumer-driven society, we're taught to buy things not because we need them, but because we've been conditioned to believe they'll make us happy. Yet this pursuit of material pleasure creates a never-ending cycle of dissatisfaction, as the happiness from consumption is always fleeting. Once it fades, we're compelled to chase the next thing, trapped in a spiral that keeps us perpetually unfulfilled. This brings us to a fundamental question. Are we living a truly free life? Or are we just accepting a form of slavery disguised as pleasure? Frederick Douglass, the great abolitionist and former slave, once said, "I have found that, to make A contented slave, it is necessary to make him think that he enjoys his servitude. Similarly, when we accept the chains of instant gratification and trade away our freedom for comfort, we give up the very essence of what makes us human, our ability to resist, to question, and to seek something greater. So, what can we do to resist this subtle but pervasive form of domination? First, we need to reclaim control over our time and attention. This means limiting our use of technologies that distract us and prioritizing activities that foster intellectual, emotional, and spiritual growth. Second, we must reflect on the role of pleasure in our lives. Seeking pleasure isn't inherently wrong, but we need to recognize when it becomes a tool of control, keeping us from living authentically. Finally, we have to remember that true freedom isn't easy. It requires effort, discipline, and often the courage to go against the grain. But only by reclaiming our humanity and resisting the forces that seek to distract us can we begin to build a more conscious, critical, and ultimately freer society. And that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you for your time and reflection. I hope this has challenged your perspective, and I look forward to continuing this journey toward true freedom with you. Until next time, on Leap of Faith.